Hey guys, Brad Pryor here with Grit Brandon. Hanging out with Emily Konkel.
That's right.
Close enough.
Yep.
With the National Reining Horse Association.
Reined cow horse.
Reining cow horse. God, I did Mr. Dairy this morning, so I was still on my brain. Sorry about that. NRCHA, which we are the official builder of. And we've had our partnership together, 2 or 3 years now?
Yeah. Yeah,
Like
I think
that?
3 years we're finishing out.
You've been doing a great job.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you want to kind of talk about what you do and how you're involved with the NRCHA?
Yeah, for sure. So I am the executive director of the NRCHA, National Reined Cow Horse Association. We're the governing body of the sport of reined cow horse. So first and foremost, we're a membership organization, and then we produce 5 premier events that are produced by our office staff. And then we have sanctioned events outside of that. So we keep track of horse earnings, rider earnings, all that good stuff. And then additionally to that, we have programs like our Cow Horse Incentive Program, judge education, member education, cowboy clinics, youth clinics, things like that, just getting people involved in the sport.
Gotcha. Everything growing pretty good?
Yeah, I mean, we've really been growing the past few years. Over the last 5 years, our membership has grown nearly 7%. And so every year it ticks up a little bit. The number of people showing cow horse at sanctioned shows, that's up like 19%. And then our premier events are up 7%. So it just seems like everything continues to tick upward every year, which is great.
And the sanctioned events, does it have your open and limited? Is it the same kind of setup as your premier shows do?
Yep, for the most part. So a sanctioned show would be like the NSHA futurity out in Vegas or the Southwest Pre-Futurity, those kind of shows. They have to have at least rein and cow work, but a lot of those shows will have more than that. They'll have their horse show classes, they'll have the derby or futurity classes for the younger horses, so they've got a little bit of everything.
But they can add other disciplines to them as long as they carry enough of y'all stuff.
Yep. So some of those shows you'll see, like they'll have AQHA classes with it or a roping of some sort, things like that.
I got you.
Yep.
I got you. So where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Michigan.
That's right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, I'm a Yankee.
But you sound Texan.
Yeah, I've lived here long enough now. I've picked it up. We're about 40 minutes from Detroit, southeast of Detroit, in an area called Downriver. So it's a small town, and so there's like horses and livestock out there, but for the most part, it's like pretty hobby related, not, big industry.
So, any siblings?
Yeah, I have 3 sisters.
Oh, really? I
Yep.
didn't know that.
Lots of estrogen in
Wow.
my family. Yeah.
Poor dad.
I know.
Poor dad.
I know.
I have 2 daughters, and that's enough.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that.
We used to get it on as kids.
I bet.
Yeah.
Who's the meanest?
So I think my oldest sister might be the meanest, but the toughest one is the one younger than me. So a lot of times I'd be the peacemaker.
Right.
Just because the young one can.
Scrap.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So what's mom and dad's background like?
So my dad is an attorney. Don't hold it against me. He did medical malpractice. And then my mom did IT for different companies like Ford and furniture companies and things like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Very different.
Yeah.
So how did you get involved in the horse community?
So neither of my parents have any kind of like horse or, Western background. But when I was in preschool in kindergarten, my best friend had horses at her house. So whenever I'd go over there, we'd ride horses. And my mom and her mom became really good friends. And so eventually I talked my mom into getting me a horse. We just leased for a while, and then they eventually bought me one. And it's kind of all downhill from there.
Was it just trail or?
We were showing. We were just doing open shows, though, and a lot of 4-H and things like that. So all around.
Cool. Are you doing anything today, personally?
I have a horse. I am definitely a non-pro and recreational, so I'm like, oh, it's pretty cool today. I'm not gonna ride.
Yeah. You're a busybody, so it's like just I rope to play, not to be any kind of competitive nature of it. So
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
You don't have time to do it. It's hard to compete.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't want to do it unless you're going to be competitive.
Right.
Yeah. People are just doing it at such a high level now that you don't want to get in there.
Especially, y'all have a youth program too that y'all have done a great job of harnessing and doing all the things with that we're involved with. But the younger generation is pretty competitive.
I know.
So, I mean, getting your butt whooped by a 15-year-old,
Right.
not, you know.
Right. It doesn't feel good. It's
No.
not good for the confidence.
No. And I feel like the horse market itself is so rich in good quality horses.
Mm-hmm.
Even somebody that does have a decent amount of time to practice can do a lot
Yeah.
as a non-pro.
Yeah.
Or pro, you know, however they want to enter that. But there's just such a good market of good horses out there now.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't think that you can find a decent horse to just get in at like an entry level cheap anyways.
Right.
It's just not like that anymore. You got to be willing to put up the cash to get a nice horse or even a decent horse and then, put the time in. So,
Right. What's your favorite discipline in y'all's organization?
I mean, I love the cow horse and I love watching the fence work. I have appreciation for each different discipline that we do. The rein work, the herd work, the steer stopping is great to watch, but I think the cow work is so special because nobody else is doing it. Or if they are doing it, it's certainly not at the level that we're seeing at our events. And so I think there's just nothing like it.
I got you. So what's your day-to-day look like?
So for the most part, I mean, I'm overseeing the office staff and making sure everything is running smoothly. Our office staff has increased over the past few years just to go along with, the growth of our organization. And so we've restructured that in the last few years just to make sure we're well staffed and we have the proper number of staff to handle the volume that comes into the office. A lot of times I'm working with the board. We're working on contracts, sponsorship things, bigger picture things. So agreements with different organizations and just bringing cow horse to the forefront and, in people's minds and making it kind of a household name.
Mm-hmm. And it's become one.
Yeah.
I couldn't have told you 5 years ago I'd know exactly what all that stood for or what y'all did, but being involved as much as evolving too.
Yep.
It's honestly my favorite event to watch. I really do enjoy it. And we have horses that participate in the organization, so can't beat the Dawsons.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Chris and Sarah.
Yeah.
But so what do you feel like your challenges are as being over the office and your day-to-day work? What do you feel like your biggest challenges?
I think some of the challenges that you have, when you have a board or a membership organization is like you can't always just make the best financial decision or the path of least resistance. A lot of times there's so much. We are a membership organization, so the members own us, and so and I don't mean that in a bad way by any means, but what their input is so valuable. So sure, I might want to rename an event or something like that, but if they like it that way, then that's what we do, So I think that can be a challenge sometimes, is if I have a different course of action or viewpoint on something, ultimately it's the membership's decision, it's the board's decision, so you get a lot of input rather than just getting to, roll ahead full steam.
Right. So, I mean, just for people that aren't aware of how all this works, for a scenario, I would say, Sean runs the PBR, that's a corporation, and he gets the upper hand on whatever he wants to, more or less.
Yeah.
Where you have to answer to a board, and your board gives you direction, and they have to vote on it for you to be able to
exactly
to do what you need to do.
Yep.
You carry out the actions of the board.
Yes. Yeah.
So for people to understand where that membership, where PBR makes decisions off what their corporate office has to do.
Exactly.
And just for instance, I guess to say.
Yep.
Something similar to that. Because you got other organizations that are membership based too that work off of that.
Yep.
And that's got to be a challenge. Me being a contractor, anytime when a church comes up, I cringe because it's like you have a lot of chiefs but no Indians, and they all want to make decisions, and they're the boss, and it's like trying to get a color picked out for a building is like almost impossible because this one's been here for 20 years and they listen to what that one says, and then all of a sudden, but there's that one person that wants to prove their point and locks it all up. So you're sitting there going back and forth over something really simple as that.
Yeah, and I mean, it can definitely get like that at times where it seems like we get caught in the details, but for the most part, our board is pretty good, and they're pretty hand in hand on most decisions, so we're able to move forward, hopefully a little bit faster, but it's not, I can't just make a decision and say, this is what we're doing. It always has to have, a level of approval and things like that.
Are they elected?
They are. So our board structure, we have 12 elected members, and then those elected members vote on a president out of the 12, and then the president can appoint up to 4 people. And then there's some other, rules about you have to have representation from each region if somebody runs. So right now we have a board of 17.
Gotcha. I got you. That makes sense.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a bigger board, which, you get a lot of input, and that's good. You kind of get it from a little bit of everywhere, so it helps you to make some of, the better decisions. But, then you got to get 17 people to vote, and that's not always so easy.
Right. And your first premier event's coming up.
Yep.
A couple weeks, right?
Yep. Our first one is the Celebration of Champions. Most people talk about it or refer to it as the world's greatest horseman, but Celebration of Champions is like the big umbrella, and within that we have the world championships. So that's where the horses qualify and they come and show in their world show classes. So we get our world champions. We have the Tres Osos Derby, which is a 4 and 5-year-old derby. So for a lot of horses, it's the first time that they're getting out from the snaffle bit futurity and shown as 4-year-olds. And then the world's greatest horseman and world's greatest youth horseman.
In the world's greatest, is there an age cap on that?
There's not. The horses just have to be shown in a bridle.
Okay.
Yep.
It's only qualified. Okay.
Yep.
Everything looking pretty good for that?
Yeah, so far. So today entries close, but everything appears to be up, but we do, our members like to wait till last minute. So they'll be entering at 7:00 tonight.
Time this airs, it'll be history.
Right.
But what about in Will Rogers?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So we went and did a tour last week, and it's done. And so
really?
They did a great job. The arena itself doesn't look a whole lot different. They've changed the HVAC. Those are things that you're not going to see, but hopefully we will feel, and we will not feel like we're in a meat freezer anymore. Yeah. But the HVAC is redone. They redid the lights, and then the concourse had a big facelift. So they knocked out some of those walls, and there's I think they're called like party platforms, but they're basically at the 50-yard line of the arena. So it opens things up, and there's more light, and you can walk around the concourse and see what's going on in the arena. So it's a better feel for the average person attending.
Okay, what are the dates on that?
So we start showing on February 14th, and our last day, which is the World's Greatest Horseman Finals, is on February 28th.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. And you'll utilize the Justin and the Watt too, as well?
Yeah, so we'll just keep the Watt as a warm-up arena, but we'll show in the John Justin, and all the World Show Finals classes will be in there, and then the World's Greatest Horseman Finals will be in the Coliseum.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So what does Emily do for fun on a personal level?
Well, I love to spend time with my family. That's probably number one for me, and has been in my life, which is hard, because some of them are up in Michigan, and one of my younger sisters is in Kentucky, so we're spread out. But whenever we can get together, we definitely try to make the most of it. So I love to do that. And then when I can, I love to ride my horse and, not take it too seriously, just relax a little bit.
Chill.
Yeah. Are
any of your sisters involved?
Two of my sisters showed as kids, but they're not involved anymore.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I was the one that stuck with it.
You go to college?
I did. I went to Michigan State University. Oh, wow. Got my bachelor's degree in ag business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
You use that a lot?
No, not at all. I actually had a young girl reach out to me, and she was asking, she said, well, what do you look for on, resumes for education? What kind of education should I get? And I said, well, I guess we lean more towards the animal science or business of some nature. But I said, I really look at experience and, what you've done and who you know and, that kind of thing. I don't think this day and age, and college is important, but I don't think it plays as big of a factor, at least in the Western industry, as, who you know and what you know.
Yeah, a lot of us can educate, especially in the trades, can educate and prefer to educate them about how we operate and what we do. Yeah. And you more or less, you might not get paid a whole lot up front, but at least you get you go to your Rafter P college or what have you, and you get to learn how to be a welder or all different things that we do. Yeah. So I think it not discourage anybody not to go to college, but, right? Yeah. It does help in the big corporate office settings, I think, a lot. Yep. What are your future plans?
Gosh, future plans.
Personally, you know what? I mean, whatever, right?
Yeah.
I know you can't really say business-wise, but I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, business-wise, I definitely plan to be in the horse industry. You know, I don't see that slowing down anytime soon. And I think that our industry continues to grow, and so there's just so many opportunities and people that want to get involved and things like that. So I definitely plan on that. And personally, I don't know. You know, we'll see where the
wind blows.
Wind blows. That's
Yes,
right.
Yeah. So what would somebody that's new to the industry, what would some cool things that they would need to know or gravitate them to wanting to learn more about what this is about?
Yeah, with cow horse. You know, I think it's definitely not an entry level sport. And I think that is something that is maybe to our disadvantage in a way, but it's just the way the sport is. You know, you've got to know how to ride, and you've got to, you know, learn at least how to work a cow, and you definitely want to make sure you know how to do that before you go down the fence. So I think that is a little bit of our disadvantage, and why our membership numbers will probably never be what, you know, the cutters are or the reiners, because it's just not an entry level sport. So I think understanding that would be first and foremost. And then you know, I think doing your research on horses, there's so much going on in the industry, and there's private incentives and, you know, things like that, money earned in different categories, all kinds of things. So I think you really need to do your research on like what your horse has done, what horse you want to buy, what the value is of that horse, and make sure that you understand that before you just drop a lot of money on a horse, because that can happen to people.
Oh,
You don't want them to get burnt out because they bought, you know, a 6-figure horse and no ROI on that one.
Yeah.
So I think just educating yourself, and then, you know, getting with a reputable trainer, like you mentioned. I mean, Chris and Sarah are amazing, but there's a lot of great trainers out there that, you know, want people and want to train them and train their horses and get them in the show pen and just promote the sport. So yeah.
Would you say that another thing too, and this is what I feel like if people could understand this, a lot of people understand the initial cost of the horse, but don't understand the upkeep and maintenance, because there's a lot that goes along with trainer fees, boarding, vet bills, all that kind of stuff. And I feel like if we had some kind of ideal number or ways to present that, I think it'll help organizations if they had something, a ballpark figure. Because that's what hurts everybody in this industry, is when they come in too heavy, and then they got a maintenance, and it's more than they really want to spend. It kind of pushes them out of the market. We got to start all over.
Yeah, and I mean, really, a lot of times the cheapest part of getting into this could be buying your horse, but you're right, the upkeep and your, you know, trainer fees, which, you know, they all need that to make a living, but it's not a cheap industry to be a part of.
Yeah. I had this brainstorm the other day. I was thinking about y'all stuff, and you know, when I bring clients or bring somebody new to the business and bring them to one of y'all's premier events, if there's a way people understood exactly what was going on, like this is like the scoring process, is that something y'all host online, or is that?
So our owners committee has been reignited basically, and so they're actually really wanting to do some things like that with, you know, education, and hopefully with some screens we can get some education going, and just like 101s basically that
that's what I'm saying,
in front of and like watch, and, you know, just get some easy information on, or, you know, we had a little pamphlet at Snafflebit that was at our owner's booth that, you know, kind of just gave a little bit of info, but just some education, because it is hard. Like, if you don't know that the scoring system starts at 70, you're probably like, how do we have a 218 on the board? This math ain't math. So just some education like that. And that's something that our owners committee is wanting to work on. Yeah.
Because what I feel is like, when you are at one of those premier events, we're all elbows to elbows, and what I've learned from my customer base is when we leave, they start asking a lot of questions, because they don't want to talk where they don't know what they're talking about, so they feel dumb, so to speak. And I feel like if there's some informational stuff like that, it would help the novice that doesn't know anything, what they're looking at, so they can be engaged. Oh yeah, I'd like to explore more about this.
Yeah. Yeah, and when you get somebody's buy-in like that, then they want to be a part of it.
Right.
And that starts with a membership, and then that starts with them buying a horse and showing, and, the list goes on and on.
Gotcha. Do you have anything new coming up besides?
Nothing. I mean, so we're working on our programs. We're focusing pretty heavy on that this year. And then, of course, just keeping our premier events at the same level, our membership and things like that. But with our programs, we're trying to get some more online education going. So we actually have a platform that we're building. We're starting with judges in that. And then eventually that'll go to different areas. So it'll be our affiliates and our members and owners and foundation and things like that. So it would look like if you were to go to your Facebook page, basically, and you can have different information and some free videos that you can learn from and things like that. So we're working on getting that launched this year. And so that'll be our community is what we call it. And hopefully that'll help us, get some more information out to our members and education and hopefully get some more.
Yeah. What about your youth stuff? About the same, or trying to grow it?
Yeah,
work on it as well.
Definitely wanting to grow the youth stuff. We have a really good group of youth kids, and they want to do things. They just want to be a part of stuff and get that learning experience. And so, one of the things we actually just talked about this the other day, but what I would really like to do is kind of refocus our youth. And so what they're learning through NRCHYA is skills that they can take on forever, like the days of 4-H and FFA where kids learn Robert's Rule of Order and they know how to conduct themselves in board meetings and they can do an interview and sit down and talk to people and, maybe do like a trades day. And, I think you and I had talked about that at one point in time, but just getting these kids where they can walk away from NRCHYA when they go to college and say, like, that actually did help me a lot. And now I'm a step ahead because I'm able to go do a job interview and I feel comfortable answering these questions and I can look somebody in the eye and, all of those things that just build life skills. So hopefully we can get some of that rolled out this year and get the buy-in of the kids, because technically they have their own board, but I would love to get some structure behind that. Yeah.
I'd be all about that because I think if you got somebody like me or somebody else that interviews or talks to these people, I'll take that back. I don't interview very many people much anymore, but I do know what I look for when somebody's being interviewed. So they had a person that says, hey, this is what you show up in, how you're dressed, how you talk. Because when we do these I guess trade shows, schools or whatever, and we do our little booth, and the kids always wanting something to pick up, but they don't really interact with you, and trying to get them engaged because everything these days is they don't have to engage personally. They have a device that they can communicate on, and it drives me crazy, like my own kids. The only way they communicate is through Snapchat or text message, and get them to pick up the phone like pulling teeth.
Right.
So telling them, hey, when you're in that environment and you have a leader or a business you're talking to, these are the things that you need to think about and outline in your head, not to overwhelm them, but the parameters.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that those kind of skills, it's a little bit of a lost art in a way.
It is.
Because like you said, I mean, they're so attached to phones and I mean, they do their homework through their phones and they communicate with their friends through, like you said, Snapchat and text and whatever other platforms there are. So just getting them out there and making them have these conversations and being respectful and confident in those, I think could just really bring them ahead of the game. Yeah.
And you probably see this through with employing younger generation of 20s and up. There's a lot of my superintendents, they're great superintendents, but a lot of my clients are old school. They want you to pick up the phone. They want to hear your voice or see your face.
Yep.
And emails, text messages always doesn't work because they can't get anything off of it. And you can read into a text very quickly.
Yes.
A different way.
Yep.
When you don't have a tone with it.
Exactly.
So if they ever invent tone with a text message that you can press, it'll probably be pretty innovative.
Yeah.
So,
no kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we're hoping to work on with the youth, this year and next year and just getting their buy-in and hopefully with their elections, they can, try and run for different positions and, politic out there and get their friends to vote for them and things like that. Just, I think it would add to their experience.
Yeah.
And some of these kids are just trainers' kids. They don't, they don't go to public school, or they don't go to even private school. They're homeschooled, and so just giving them some more experience.
Yeah. They get their personalities based off the horse shows from us,
Yes.
more or less. The people that are there every day.
Yep.
But I mean, we do raise a pretty good little generation of kids, just trying to get them the other skill sets they need they can't get from the shows.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
I feel like when most of these kids walk around, they're pretty respectful.
Oh yeah.
If you walk in a different crowd, different type setup, different industry, I mean, you can't even make eye contact with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
And a lot of the kids, at least in the cow horse, I mean, they are really great kids. They will talk to you and they'll have conversations with you, and they want to do things. It's just figuring out how to harness some of their energy to propel them forward.
Yeah. Well, you know me, I'm all about getting involved with that kind of stuff and being glad to help in any way I can.
Cool.
Because that's our next generation.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Do you watch sports or anything?
A little bit here and there. I've been watching the NFL more because I have a fantasy football team, so very important. I'm out already, but
well, we've talked bucking bulls a little bit too.
Yep. Is
it something you thought about getting into one day, maybe?
Yeah.
That's interesting. When you told me that, honestly, I was like, really?
Yeah.
It caught me off guard.
It's been something that's been kind of on my radar for, I don't know, maybe 5 or so years now, and so it's just such a cool niche market that's like, it's unbelievable how powerful those animals are and what people put into them. And then I think the thing that really surprised me, because they are just such big and rough and tough animals, is how gentle people are with them. It's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a bull named Smooth Over, and Cord McCoy runs my bucking bulls for me, or haul them down the road. He was telling me, he said, I think they were bucking in Arizona or Vegas one place, and he said, we just put Smooth out there in some panels, and kids just walking up to him, petting him. He just got through bucking.
Right.
And just put him out there, and we said, we're going to do this at all the Hondo Fest and all the promotional places they go to. And he said, he'd go out there and buck his butt off, and then go over there and kids just pet him. He loves it too.
Yeah, he probably wants to be scratched.
Yeah. And what's crazy is he is the calmest bull, but his pen mate is the wildest dang thing you ever seen in your life.
Really?
He is crazy. If they separate them, they got to put them back together pretty quick.
Really?
Yeah. Or that bull will rip every panel up trying to get to Smooth. Smooth's like the little lover boy, old school cat.
Friends.
Yeah. Yeah. So this bull's name was Diablo something when I got it, and I had to change it because it was so, I'm like a demon name or something. I'm like, okay, but he definitely backs that up.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that is a good name for him.
Yeah. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to promote something like that because people really don't have to understand it.
Right.
It's kind of like watching NASCAR. You're there to watch the wrecks most of the time, unless you're one of them hardcore fans.
Yeah. So how many events do they do of that a year?
Well, we have PRCA bulls and PBR bulls, so Cord has a card, so we get to go travel a lot more with the PRCA deals. Most of them, if you can get 10 outs, you're either doing pretty dang good.
Yeah.
It just depends on the bull, because you don't want to overextend them. You have short round bulls, and you have all different types of mixes of bulls, and now in the PBR you can get a re-rides and PRC. So you got a whole different set of pin of bulls than what it used to be. It used to be they bucked. Now there's different parameters. If they're older, they know how to. They're more consistent. But there's so much that goes into them as a trainer. I mean, they train them just like horses do.
Right.
You know, and it's very cool to watch it done. You think the general mindset is they just go out there and buck.
Right.
But there's more to it than that.
So there's an organization that bucks the younger bulls. What is that group called? ABBI?
ABBI,
yeah. I went to one of their events, and I was like blown away those bulls are yearlings. Yeah. And they're getting after it. Yeah, them ABBI bulls, that's more or less where all your futurity and derby type bulls go until you get up in their classic. So classics are the 5 and 6, 7. Or 6, 7, 8, whatever. Yep. And that's where they're bringing them up. They're bucking with the machines on them, or they're bucking with a rider eventually when they get over to 2-year-old stuff. But, that's more or less just for the bull, not the rider. So
That's pretty cool. They come up with that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun to watch.
Yeah.
It was cool.
You can see some rank coming up. Up-and-comers coming, for sure.
Yep. And to be that close to them when they are bucking, like, it kind of blows you away. I think
Yeah.
you take for granted, you know, what's on TV. You kind of think, oh, whatever. But when you get right up next to them, you're like,
Yeah, it's a whole different world.
oh, yeah.
Whole different world.
Yep, for sure.
So if you had to give an 18-year-old or yourself at 18 advice, what would that be?
I think I would say, you know, to not be too proud to do anything, and don't turn down opportunities just because it may not seem like it's exactly what you want. You know, I feel like our life is full of different chapters, and so you can do this chapter for a little bit and then try something else. You don't have to, you know, stay with it forever. But I think anything that you get an opportunity to do that's in your area of interest, I think you should take that. You know, you never know who you're going to meet and how you're going to grow your network and what kind of connections you're going to make, or, you know, a different career path that you may have not expected for yourself that turns out you really like it.
Good advice. Yeah, I mean, I think the old school ways, being an older cat, is like you're told pick a career and make sure you got insurance, 401k, all the things. Now, you know, even in our company, we let our employees, we just pay them more and let them invest their own money because there's so many different dynamics you can.
Yep.
You know, the 401ks kind of lost their luster with the world. The people just want to get paid and figure out what they want to do with what they want to do with their money.
Yeah, exactly.
So the mindset of that's changed. So you do, you know, you're not locked. I would agree that you're not locked into something just because that was your first job.
Yep.
You know, try some things out.
Yeah.
Well, it's not the end of the world. I mean, if you're not taking care of nothing else but yourself,
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
Yeah. Give it a shot. What do you got to lose?
Right. 100%.
Yeah.
What is something about you that nobody would know or would surprise somebody to know? Because you're very walled up.
All right, I'll give you a good one, but this is only for you and your podcast listeners' ears. So I like to say my first shot at event planning was when I was in high school, and it was my last week of senior year, and my parents left. They had to go to a wedding, and I was supposed to meet them the next day, and so I threw a massive party.
You did?
Like, oh, yeah, I had like 125 kids there. It was huge. And before we did that, my sister stayed with me. So we like cleaned out all the horse troughs to use those and for drinks and things like that. And then we took pictures around, like digital camera pictures around the house to make sure everything was put back exactly the same. And we blocked off our driveway with cones so nobody was driving on the grass. I mean, it was event production. And we had a cover charge to get in, of course. It was the whole thing. And then my parents came and busted it at like midnight. Yeah, I was in so much trouble.
Somebody snitched on you.
Yeah.
For sure.
So that was my first shot at event planning, and I loved it.
Yeah, it sounded like it was almost a success till mom and dad showed up.
It would have been an all-night party.
You think you were snitched on?
I had to have been, yeah.
Sister?
Well, so my older sister didn't know about it. My younger sister was there with me, and then the youngest, she was, you know, too young to know. So I kind of think it was my friend's mom, but that's never been, you know, nobody's
figured
ever told
out.
me. Yeah.
Anything wild happen?
No, not really. I realized I had to be like paying attention to what was going on. It wasn't, you know, I didn't get to enjoy myself. It was
it ain't none.
It's
never fun playing or having your own
right.
event.
Yeah, you got to make sure everybody else is
100%.
You know, following the rules. But yeah.
If you had to define your grit in one word, what would it be?
I would say tenacity.
Tenacity. All these fancy words.
Big words.
Why do you say that?
I think that when I was a kid, I knew that I wanted to be in the horse industry. And even coming from Michigan, I mean, there's some barriers to being up north just because the industry is not, you know, what it is down here. It's not like you can go next door and, you know, have somebody's horses to ride, or they're a part of this huge industry. It's more recreational, and it's grown, but at that time there wasn't a whole lot. And so I think that it was like this burning passion that I always had, and I just never gave up on it. And before I actually worked for NRCHA, you know, I was looking for jobs. I was just working contracted horse shows at that time, but I mean, I got told no 30 times. And it was just one of those things that, yeah, it sucks, but you just put your head down and you keep going, and, you know, eventually it works out how it's supposed to.
If somebody wanted to do what you're doing for a living, how did you get there, I guess? What would be the best way? Ultimately, how would you get involved with a membership organization to be in a leadership role?
Yeah.
You know, on staff.
Yeah, I think you have to be willing to start at the bottom. And there's so many volunteer positions or contracted positions, and you just have to be willing to like get in there and do anything that somebody asks you to do. And you can't, you know, say, oh, well, I don't want to, you know, wipe these tables down. I'm too good for that. Like, you just got to get in there and do it, and do a good job at whatever you're doing. Like, just give it some try and make sure that you do it to the best of your ability. And I think that in the Western industry, we certainly notice those people that go above and beyond, and that's who we start to cherry pick and, you know, continue working with, whether it's in the membership organization or contracting them or, you know, pointing them to different careers. Like with Rafter P, you know, we know a good partner that you guys would fit with. So just things like that.
A relationship based too. Like you're just getting to know people, and kind of like we're talking about when we're talking about jobs, it's like just not being afraid to talk to somebody.
Yep.
Because that's basically how you get yourself anywhere in life, really. Just be able to talk to somebody to build a relationship where they can get involve you in whatever you want to inject yourself into.
Yeah. Yep.
So your first show's coming up in February 14th through 28th?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Okay. How can people find y'all to know the schedule and all that good stuff?
So if you go to NRCHA.com, on the homepage, there's a link, or it's like a little bubble, but you click that, and it's Celebration of Champions page, and that'll have the schedule and things like that. Ticket sales for World's Greatest, we open those up to members tomorrow, members only, and so that's the 21st, and the 22nd it goes on sale to the general public. So that event has been selling out for the last, I mean, really since we've brought it to Fort Worth. So
how long do you think tickets, like a week? Do you think it'll last?
Yeah, probably a week at most.
And it will be in Will Rogers?
It'll be in the Will Rogers, yeah.
That's a big question everybody keeps asking. I don't know. Like I hadn't even seen the rendering or what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
Just hadn't stopped to look at it or pay attention to it. But everybody I've talked to said they've done a great job with it.
Yeah, they're rocking and rolling in there. They were showing and that kind of thing. So the boxes aren't a whole lot different, but the seats up top, they took out the front row of seats, and so that walkway is actually a little bit wider, so you can walk through and not trip over people's knees sitting there.
Yeah.
And they put a little bit of railings and things like that in there. So they've made a few changes that will help.
Okay. And what's y'all's social platforms?
So we're on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Mostly it's TikTok, yeah. I don't do TikTok, so I let the girls handle that.
I don't mess with that.
Yeah, but it's NRCHA or the NRCHA.
Cool. Well, thank you for coming and hang out with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, good to visit with you.
I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yep, I know. It'll be here quick.
Yeah, we get to spend 3 weeks together.
There we go.
All right, guys, check us out on our next podcast, Grit Branded. Talk to you soon.